So I wanted to have a moment of transparency. I recently discovered a situation that I needed to heal through, so to speak. So as you all know, I have 4 baby girls, beautiful, intelligent, wonderful girls, but one of my babies in particular, Camille, she has her moments where she has meltdowns and tantrums, so I couldn't understand why, and I couldn't see why. I couldn't figure out why, no matter how much I tried to do the spiritual connections and try to figure out what the issue was. I was just having a hard time because I was looking for external reasons as to why she was acting the way she was acting, or why she would say the things she'd say. Things like she felt unloved and uncared for, not a part of the family, no matter how much we, loved on her as much as we loved on everyone else. She would still say those things, and I never understood why up until recently. So Camille is 6. And at that time, I was still in party mode, and it was like I wasn't ready to sit down and take care of another baby. And so I had to come into some hard truths that, even though they sound bad, it's still the truth, and that's the only way to heal from it, is to accept it. So what I had unintentionally done was created cords of resentment toward her because of the fact that I wasn't ready to sit down and take care of another baby. And so that cord of resentment is the energy cord from me to her. And she was receiving all of those feelings that I had pushed deep within myself, because it was like, you shouldn't feel like this way about your child. And so I pushed those feelings to the back, but I never released those feelings. I never let them go. I never worked through those feelings. And so she was receiving that energy unintentionally and residually. And that's why she was acting the way she was acting. It took me this long to realize that, because, like I said, I was looking for external reasons as to why she was acting the way she was acting, but I never pointed the finger at myself, because I felt like I was doing the best I could. But there were some underlying things, and tried to get other healers to see what it was that I couldn't see. And even though they did do some work with her, she would be okay for like a day or two, and then it would just go right back to what it was. So some things you can't expect other people to heal or fix for you. You have to do that for yourself. It's deep within. Like you have to be brutally honest with yourself, even if the truth is nasty, it's disgusting, it makes you feel like a horrible person. You have to dig that truth out, and you have to understand that truth is what you have to accept in order to work through it and remove that energy. And so when I realized this, I sat with myself and I figured out what it is that I needed to do to work through this with me and her. So I sat with her and I talked to her a little bit about how we respond to each other, because when she would throw her tantrums and get upset, it would strike something in me, like just straight anger and fury. Like I felt my chest heat up. I would get angry and I would lash out, and then I would come back and apologize, because I really hated the way that I would respond to her. So we talked about those moments, and I apologized to her for those moments, because I really was sorry that I responded to her in the way that I did, and I wanted her to know that. And so after I verbally apologized to her, I told her we were going to do a little exercise, and I sat with her and I held her hands and I said, I'm going to talk to your inner self. And she said, well, I'm going to talk to your inner self too. I said, okay. So we closed our eyes. I held her hands. And the moment I closed my eyes was when I saw a 2-year-old Camille in her crib. And she was crying because I would let her cry it out in her crib. Even though I felt like it wasn't something I wanted to do or was supposed to be doing, I still did it, thinking that, you know, she would stop all that crying, you know, cry it out and she'll be all right. Like, there's nothing else wrong with you. I've done everything I could. But yeah, so I saw that Camille, the unhealed Camille. She was stuck at the age of 2 in that crib. So I spoke with her and I apologized to her inner self. And I apologize for every instance that she felt uncared for and alone. I just continuously apologized to her. And then I hugged her and I loved on her inner self. And just continued to do that for a moment. And at that moment, I felt a release in myself. And it was like a lightness. A lightness, like a weight lifted off of me. And at that moment, I realized that her inner self had forgiven me. And so it allowed me to forgive myself for not knowing and not understanding and being young as a young mother, still wanting to do all of these other things, but parenthood took over. So I had to forgive myself, but I didn't realize that until she forgave me. And since then, like, I haven't felt the need to not lash out, but yell at her or fuss. Like, I respond to her more calmly. Her tantrums have been non-existent. So I just want to say this to anybody who is not really, any parent that doesn't really understand why their child is acting out or having issues, emotional issues. I want you to take a moment and be totally honest with yourself. Super honest. No matter how disgusting that truth might feel, I want you to be truthful with yourself. And like, think about what it is that possibly happened between you and that child, or your child, I'm sorry, you and your child, or what that child could have gone through to get to the point, could have triggered this sort of behavior. Try to think of those things and talk it out with yourself to figure out what it is you can do to heal that. It's okay. It's okay. You got to forgive yourself for what you didn't know before. You have to forgive yourself for what you didn't know, and understand that it's still, there's, as long as you're here living, I mean, we can still heal in the spirit world, but as long as you're here now, it's still, you still have the opportunity to heal from those things and heal your children from those things. This stemmed from me wanting to create a life for my children that they did not have to heal from. And that includes emotional trauma. A lot of people like to talk about sexual trauma during childhood, but emotional trauma is a major one as well. And even though I try to be as calm and caring and understanding to my kids as I possibly can, I still have my moments where I would get upset. So I just wanted to make this video for any parent whose child is going through something, having emotional issues. For the moms out there who feel like they shouldn't feel a certain way towards their kids, resentment, angry, I understand. I understand exactly how you feel. And it's okay that you had those feelings. We are all human. Those feelings are okay, but you can't continue to hold on to those feelings. So for any parent out there currently trying to figure out the issues that their children might be having, I encourage you to look within. I'm not saying that's always the case, but I encourage you to do that. Because looking within was the fastest way for me to understand exactly what was going on with Camille. I had to see the issue from what I was doing or wasn't doing. I had to understand it from that point of view in order to heal it. Like, I keep wanting to say fix it, but it wasn't broken. It just needed mending. So, y'all feel free to send messages if you have any questions or comment. I don't mind either. I don't mind messages if you don't want to comment. And if you need help working through issues with your babies, I am here to help. So I want to say thank you for watching this video. Try to practice looking within when it comes to any situation close, near, and dear to your heart, because usually there's something within us that manifests physically into this world. And if it is relevant in your life, then that is definitely something you want to do. You want to go within to try to figure out exactly how it is, how it came about, and what it is you need to do to mend the problem. So with that being said, I hope you all receive this message with love as it was intended. And I hope y'all have a blessed one.